Is there a mega drought on our hands here in Arizona set to halt new development, leave pools dry, and even worse, millions of client refugees fleeing the desert Southwest? This is a question I get asked about almost weekly. Andrew, what is Arizona's water situation? I've seen shocking headlines that are deterring me from moving or thinking about moving to Arizona. How safe is the situation out there? Is Arizona gonna run out of water? Shoot me straight, Andrew. Today, we're gonna take a close-up look on the situation and maybe even debunk some of the shocking headlines showing that Arizona's water situation is dire and we could be running out of water any day now. Real quick, I'm Andrew McGuire. I'm an investment-focused real estate right here in the Phoenix metro area. I've been investing in myself and helping clients find great investment properties in the Phoenix metro area for the last 5 years. If you've been thinking about moving to Arizona, buying a second home, or investing in Arizona, and need a little help along the way, or just want to have a discussion, my contact info is in the description below. I would love to speak with you about Phoenix and the market, what everything looks like here in 2023. Now, before we assess the water situation here in Phoenix, it's important to know exactly how we do get water. Most of the headlines are gonna be focused on the Colorado River, which is shared with 7 other states. And many of these articles are gonna lead you to believe that that is Arizona's only water source. Well, it is true that the Colorado River is running dry, but that is just one of the sources of water where Phoenix Metro and Arizona get their water from today. The water that comes from the Colorado River accounts for about 36% of Arizona's water supply today, and it's known as the Central Arizona Project, which you'll hear me talk about in this video as CAP. The Colorado River starts its flow to the southwest, originating in the Rocky Mountains from the snowpack, winding its way through the southwest states through Lake Mead and also Lake Powell near Page, Arizona. Lake Mead being the major problem with water levels decreasing at a rapid rate. The agreement that governs how the water supply is used is called the Colorado River Compact and is an agreement between 7 states. The Colorado River is separated into the upper and lower basin. The upper basin consists of Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico. The states that get their water in the lower basin include California, Arizona, Nevada, and also Mexico. The second source of water for Phoenix is a historically large groundwater preserve that the city sits atop of. This reserve covers 84.5 acres underneath the city and has helped fuel the city of Phoenix's growth in surrounding areas since the early 1900s. The third source of water for Phoenix in Arizona comes from the in-state water system. 18% of the water in the state of Arizona on most of the Phoenix metro comes from this in-state water system. The in-state rivers include the Salt River, Apache River, Lake Roosevelt, Canyon Lake, and Saguaro Lake that all hold that water. The water originates from the in-state Salt River Basin, which captures water into several rivers to the north and the east of the city of Phoenix, known as the Salt River Project. All of this water merges just northeast of the city of Phoenix and meets up there near Granite Reef Dam. From there, the water gets distributed into 4 canals. One runs south along Power Road through Mesa, another shoots north into Scottsdale along the Hayden Aqueduct, one heads directly into the city of Phoenix itself, and one more streams into Mesa. Once all the water converges in the city, it goes through the city and merges northwest of the city at Lake Pleasant. Many of you are familiar with the recreation and the boating out there at Lake Pleasant. That is Phoenix's leftover water supply from Salt River Project, stored safely there out of the city limits. An important thing to note is before the water was dammed up, 2 rivers flowed into the Phoenix area, the Gila River and the Salt River. Salt River flowed through central Phoenix, if you know where Tempe Town Lake is, which was previously the Salt River flow. And the Gila River flowed south of South Mountain. They converged on the west side of the city, what today is Buckeye, then wound its way southwest through Gila Bend, and then met up with the Colorado River, which today is Yuma, Arizona. The combined rivers, after meeting in Yuma, then flowed out to the ocean, which is the Sea of Cortez, and is also known as the Gulf of California. The damming of these rivers forever changed the erosion, which is now between Baja and mainland Mexico, and changed the shape forever of the land between Arizona and California. Lastly, 5% of Arizona's water supply comes from reclaimed water sources. Now that we know where Arizona's water supply comes from, let's answer the question. How desperate of a situation are we in? And is this set to halt Phoenix's unparalleled growth here in the last few years? Or worse yet, send millions of climate refugees back to the Midwest and East Coast where many of them migrated from, reversing the migration chains to warm weather states and specifically the Southwest over the last 30 years. Now let's look at the Colorado River first. As of 2023, in the Colorado River Pack, Arizona is at 2A tier state. Out of the 7 states that participate in the Colorado River Compact, only Arizona and Nevada received cuts in their water allocation from the Colorado River. Arizona is set to have a reduction of 21% of their water rights coming from the Colorado River through the Central Arizona Project. California is receiving no water reduction in 2023 from the Colorado River. What the states tried to do when the federal reclamation group came back last June and asked for another 4 million cubic feet of water to be cut from the Colorado River in the next year. What the states tried to accomplish is everybody sit down, come to an agreement, and everybody take a share of that percent that needed to be cut, but California wanted nothing to do with it. So it was up to the smaller states, Arizona giving back 21%, as well as Nevada chipping in. The reduction of the Colorado River's outflow has to be reduced before the lake and the dam receive dead pool levels, cutting off power to the parts of the Southwest, including Las Vegas. If dead pool levels are reached, we have a massive problem in the Las Vegas, better known as Sin City. If I'm Arizona and Nevada, I'm not leaving my fate in the hands of the other 7 states that share the Colorado River. I'm taking it into my own hands. Now let's look at the other largest source of water for Arizona, groundwater. In the West Valley of Arizona, there's a huge aquifer that's projected to have 3 times the water of Lake Mead today sitting underneath our ground. For years, Phoenix has been taking their excess water from the Central Arizona Project and restoring our aquifers to levels and capping those off. Instead of using rainwater to replenish those aquifers, we've been using our share of the water from the Central Arizona Project, which according to the City of Phoenix Water Management Department takes about 20 years to fully replenish from beginning to end. The City of Phoenix has been doing this since the 1960s and was escalated in 1971 when the canal project was done. In addition to replenishing the aquifers through CAP, there's now active management areas all around the Phoenix metro. The ability to dig more wells and search for water for Arizona new development is now limited and more highly regulated through the Arizona Department of Water Resources. Now let's look at Arizona's in-state water supply, the Verde and Salt River water systems. Let's talk about the rain season for a moment. From the period of March 22 through March 23, the Phoenix metro and outlying areas had a record rainfall. You don't hear about this much in the media that we've received a ton of rain, replenishing our water system. You still hear about a mega drought, surprisingly, even though we've had a ton of rain in the last couple of years. Phoenix, being one of the driest regions in all of Arizona, had over 12 inches. Now, I know if you're from other states, you're probably laughing because I'm acting like that's a lot of water, but we live in a desert. We've lived in a desert or been in a mega drought for many, many hundreds of years, and that's still the case. But 12 inches of rain in the Phoenix metro is quite a lot for when you compare it to what we've had in the past. This excess rainfall had Salt River Project filling their reservoirs to the brim. They're currently building a new reservoir and expanding Bartlett Dam's capacity to hold excess rain. It's going to get larger by 97 feet, which doesn't sound like a lot, but according to Salt River Project, today Bartlett Dam holds 276,000 acre feet of water. After the dam's reconstruction, SRP said the lake would hold 628,000 acre feet of water, almost tripling its capacity, or enough water for about 2 million homes. Salt River Project is also planning and working diligently on the Roosevelt Dam project. The project would allow the Roosevelt Dam to release excess floodwater over a 120-day period from what it is now a 20-day period, allowing for the surrounding areas, municipalities, and cities to recapture more of that water for storage. Several of these cities, including Chandler, are getting involved and pitching in with funds and resources to help Salt River Project accomplish that much quicker. Salt River Project has had so much water in recent years, it's had to release a lot of it. Not to worry, it's not going unwasted. A lot of it's going to be used to replenish those large underground aquifers underneath the city. Both of these aforementioned projects are going to expand SRP's capacity to retain waters from our watershed in the northeast side of the state, increasing the water capacity for the Phoenix metro area. Some other facts we're going to want to consider. Agriculture uses about 70% of the water supply in Arizona as a whole today, with urban developments accounting for only about 30% of that water. This catches many by surprise, but as Phoenix continues to sprawl, it puts less of a strain on Arizona's water supply because agriculture uses almost 4 times more water for the same acre as city developments do. Now, Arizona has to decide, are they going to stay with their roots and stay as an agricultural rural state, or are we going to continue to feed the booming cities, the Phoenix metro, which I've talked about in my other videos, is the fastest growing metro in all of the United States. As of right now in 2023, any new developments in the Phoenix metro area and state of Arizona have to show that they have secured a 100-year water supply in order to start development and get permits. Now, if you're driving around the Phoenix metro, especially on the outskirts, you're going to see new developments, housing, shopping, industrial on all parts of town. And rest assured, if they're doing development, whoever the builder is has secured permits that say they have a 100-year supply of water and able to develop. Now, let's look at some future plans. There's been a lot of chatter about Arizona building a massive water pipeline from the Mississippi River in the central United States all the way to Arizona. There's also been a lot of talk about desalination plants. One was proposed in Mexico for a cost of about $1 billion. Now, if it's me, I don't really like either of these plans because they involve politics, keeping a checks and balance system, a relationship with other states, and in the desalination case, the country of Mexico, which if you're me, I don't really want to put my state's growth and our fate in other countries or other states' hands. Now, looking at all of our states and Phoenix Metro's water supplies and what is really being done to expand and hold on to our water and also replenish our groundwater and build more capacity through Salt River Project. Does Arizona have a water crisis on our hands? I don't personally believe we have a water crisis on our hands, but it is, however, likely that the amount of water, that percentage coming from the Colorado River Central Arizona project, it can't be relied on. We do need to diversify, continue to expand those other sources of water to make sure we're safe and can continue to grow development and have water for many decades into the future. Now that you have a handle on what's going on with Arizona's water supply, you might be wondering, is it worth it to move to Arizona, knowing that we do have that 100-year water supply for new developments? If so, you can find that video here. And if you're worried about what some of those new developments are, what's hot and new in Phoenix here in 2023, I made a video for that, and you can find that one right here.